Hello D23 fans, this is Christian Milan again. I wanted to answer the question in this video, what is the D23 Expo really like? I mean, you get a lot of accounts on YouTube and social media, but I want to take you day by day and hour by hour so you can see the good, the bad, and the ugly about the D23 Expo and help you make a decision about buying tickets in 2019. So here we go. Now, our Expo Experience start a full day before Expo begins. This is on Thursday. Friday is when the Expo begins, but people will start lining up and filling this courtyard, and this is what it looks like 24 hours before the Expo begins. 9 a.m. in front of Hall C. Now, you don't have to come this early to line up for the Expo. A lot of people just come this early to be first for the exclusives. By 1 p.m. the day before, the line has now extended all the way from the entrance down to Hall E. And this is what it looks like in Hall E, 3 hours before people are allowed to go in. By 9:30 p.m., a checkpoint security process begins and people start to enter Hall E. D23 publishes that 10 p.m. is when people start to enter Hall E, but actually the process starts much sooner than that. By 10 p.m., at least 1,000 people have already entered the line and started entering into Hall E. Here we are at 3 a.m. and the lines are separated into the Showfloor and the D23 Legends ceremony lines. You'll find that on the first day of the Expo, most of the people that stayed overnight in line are actually here to do some early shopping on the Showfloor. At every Expo, John Lasseter does a media event in front of the Expo at around 5 a.m. By 5:30 a.m., a huge crowd has gathered in front of the Expo to see John Lasseter and this media event. Around 6 a.m. in Hall E, people can start to get up and get coffee and breakfast before the show. D23 tells people that if you arrive after 7 a.m., you should come directly to the front of the convention center, and this is that area between the Anaheim Marriott and Hilton Hotel. And this is an overview shot of how that line looks at around 8 a.m. in front of the convention center. And that is why people arrive so early to get the best possible position. And at 8:30 a.m. the morning of the first day of the convention, the people that have been waiting for over 24 hours are brought into the lobby of the Anaheim Convention Center to prepare for the opening of the Expo. And on Friday morning at 9 a.m., the Expo officially opens its doors. Between 9 and 9:30 at the Marvel Studios Pavilion, they actually hand out wristbands for a signing later in the day. In 2017, the Friday signing was for Black Panther's Chadwick Boseman and director Ryan Coogler. This is the wristband for you to come back at 2 p.m. later that afternoon. By 9:20 a.m., they started wrapping lines into the upper floors to keep people out of the hot sun. Also at 9:20 a.m., they start to let people into Hall D23 for the 10 a.m. start of the Legends panel, otherwise known as the opening ceremony for D23. Those early enough will see John Lasseter and other stars make their way to find seats into the Hall D23 show.
Really, a legend is about the common experience that we all hold and share.
And as the Legends ceremony goes on, the line continues to form outside of the convention center. Keep in mind that big panels and shopping aren't the only things going on. I'm going to show you different things that are happening at the same time that you can actually pick and choose from when you're at the Expo. For example, at the middle of the Expo show floor, there's center stage, and a crowd just gathers to see the Descendants cast here at 10:30 a.m. And at 11 a.m., the famous Masquerade competition where cosplayers compete to get prizes to be the best costumed at the Expo. And at 11 a.m. in Hall E, even before the Legends panel has gotten out, a huge line has started forming for one of the biggest panels of the weekend, the Animation and Pixar panel, which begins at 2:30 p.m. that afternoon. Meanwhile, at the Music Emporium, Sophia Carson and Dove Cameron are signing autographs for fans.
Give my deepest respects for the super cool space sis I have in Carrie Francis Fisher.
So by the time the Legends panel ends at 12 noon, most people will have a plan for whether they want to stay on the show floor or whether they're going to get back in line in Hall E for the 2:30 animation panel. Those deciding to stay on the show floor will get surprise announcements like this one about the new Iron Man suit for the next Infinity War movie. Now in 2017, at exactly 12:40 p.m., a huge fan break-in into the line caused an overflow, which caused the animation panel to be miscounted. This is that animation line at 1 p.m. For a lot of these fans, unbeknownst to them, they're not going to get into the animation panel because of that earlier fan break-in. And for those still inside in the show floor, they were treated to a parade with a special guest appearance from Stan Lee. At 2:20, seating has already begun for the animation panel. But other shows, such as this Golden Girls celebration, is still available to guests.
Studios, Alan Horn.
By 2:30 p.m., the animation panel is well underway, and as Alan Horn takes the stage, a large group of people are still in Hall E and still haven't gone into the show. We'll get back to them in a moment.
Under our Disney umbrella, we have a phenomenal collection of movie studios. Walt Disney Animation, Pixar Animation, Disney Live Action, Marvel Studios, and
Black Panther himself. Make some noise for Ryan Coogler and Chadwick Boseman. The seat right here.
Hello, D23 Expo! I know what you're all asking. What is with my new Rin Spooner D23 shirt? Does someone want one?
And at 2:55 p.m., 30 minutes into the animation panel, on the show floor, Mark Hamill is in a parade making a special appearance. Now let's get back to the leftover animation line that didn't get into the panel still in Hall E.
I understand your frustration.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I've been here the entire day trying to do my best to get you guys going.
Why didn't you load earlier? Hi everybody, I'm Al Nasser. I'm the Special Events Manager for the resort. Here's what we're doing. We apologize for what happened. We miscounted, or we didn't count. That's all on us, and we apologize for that. But here's what I'm trying to do for you right now, and the reason it's taking so long is I'm trying to get through some permission. However, I am trying to get you guys reserved seating for tomorrow's. Yes! That is my idea, and I'm trying to make it work. I can make it work. I'm trying to get permission from the executives to do it. Okay, so this might take a few minutes. All right? Just give me a few more minutes and I'll be done.
The real Disney princesses, ladies and gentlemen.
So after D23 corrected their problem and provided some in the animation line with free wristbands to get into the next day's Parks and Resorts or live action panel, some were able to go into other panels that afternoon, such as the Pirates' 50th anniversary. And at 4:15, Kenny Ortega and all of the Descendants 2 cast greeted fans in another special D23 parade. Meanwhile, outside the convention center, a line has already started forming for Saturday's live action panel and show floor merchandise sales. And finally, here is the status of the overnight line at 8:45 for next day's shopping and panel presentations. In my next video, I'm going to show you what it's like at the D23 Expo on Saturday, which is by far the busiest and most popular of all the Expo days. But for now, hope you have a magical night.